That was sketchy. These are 12 feet. That's how tall my wall would be. Wow. I gotta do it.
Hello down there!
So I have 12 holes and I only have 6 sauna tubes. 2 of those have a sauna tube inside of them. I bought 12 footers because I need to cut them in half, roughly, for each one of these holes, and that will give me the depth and the height that I need out of the ground. It was just easier to buy them this way. You can get them in 4-foot lengths or you can get them in 12-foot lengths. So 12-foot lengths it was. So I guess I should probably clarify a few things. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Sean in Alaska, and I pretty much have no idea what I'm doing. So this is not meant to be, any of these videos, a way to teach you how to do something. Trust me, I am not a teacher like that, especially for this. The other thing is that I'm going to show every mistake that I make, and then a lot of times I'm going to go back and explain to you why they're a mistake and why I probably shouldn't have done what I did. I don't cut those out of the videos. I may shorten them up, but you'll always see the mistake. I just think it's more helpful. When you can see somebody else screw something up first, I think it works a lot better. So that brings me to the subject of what I'm going to talk about right now. So in the previous video, you saw me struggle with lining this whole thing out. getting all the corners squared up, getting everything ready to go, getting my lines measured out so I had the perfect footprint for the cabin. And it's come to me that I didn't need to do any of that, because the main thing I needed to do was get the holes lined up for the sonotubes, because I'm going to put the beams on top of that, and then I'm going to square my floor up on the top of that. I know that my floor has to be 20 by 24 feet. And the method that I'm going to use to do that will be pretty easy to square up when I'm done, just by measuring off the diagonal. So I really didn't need to fight all of the corner boards here in the string line to make this work. What it did allow me to do, though, was make sure that my sonotubes, my columns, were inside the floor of the outside edge of the floor where the cabin was going to be. So I guess that was helpful in that sense, but in reality I could have just strung the middle line of columns, measured out a certain amount of feet from each side of that, and had no problem whatsoever getting those lined up. So, you know, it's probably a step that I didn't need to take, but I took it anyway, and I, you know, other than a little bit of headache and struggles, I learned something, so that was a good deal. So I still have one hole left to drill. But I have picked up the sonotubes, as you saw, and I want to get this kind of finalized and finished up, which means I'm going to have to line up a couple of more of these holes so that I could get everything ready to go. And then I could get to the point where I'm going to be pouring concrete. So I guess I got lucky more than anything else, because on this first outside edge, I'm pretty much center of the line here, center of the line here. I may have to clear just a little bit on that side to get us centered here, and I'm center of the line here. Not so much on this next row. So on this row here, I probably need to open this up a little bit over here, and here I almost completely missed the line. That one's good, that one's good, and I'm pretty lined up on these other ones. Again, I'll probably just shave a little bit over here, shave a little bit on this one. This one looks dead center, and then I'll just make sure when I dig this one that I'm actually dead center on it here. If I sound like I've got a cold, I don't usually suffer from allergies of any kind, but man, there's been so much pollen in the air this year that my allergies have just been ballistic, and the last couple of days have been merciless. So I'm actually taking allergy meds for it this time. I've never had to do that before, but oh well, live and learn, right? Okay. So I need to be center of the line here. Actually, I probably could do it this way. There we go. Trying to see if I can get that started a little easier. Come on, get over there. So when I'm digging these holes, one of the things I found out is that the top layer of dirt, earth, you know, that kind of clay, nasty stuff, is not that thick. So I get the hole started. And I keep digging it with this until I get to the rock, which I think I just hit. There it is. And at that point I can't really use this anymore. So then I have to switch over to this, which allows me to break down what's in here. And get some of those rocks out of the way until I break down through that layer. And this is an example of the kind of rocks that I run into at that layer. So this part can take a little bit of time depending on how far down that layer of larger gravel goes. And then when I think I'm down enough, which I probably am not, but we'll give it a shot, I can go back to this again. And the issue with this is that it doesn't move the larger rocks out of the way. And then when I pull it out of the ground, it loses half of the dirt that's in there. I got really lucky with 10 of these 12 holes. And then that one started giving me some grief. And this one seems to be in the same vein. Unfortunately, I also get to a point where those post hole diggers really won't close enough to pull the dirt out of the hole either. All right. There you go. Now, do these actually have to be 2.5 feet deep? No. I mean, technically, when I hit the sand and gravel mix, that is not affected by permafrost or by frost heaves like the regular earth is. So once I got to there, I was fine. But I decided on 2.5 feet, and for the same reason, I decided that I needed 4 in a row instead of 3 in a row. It just felt better to me. So that is all of them dug. Now I have to line them up. I got to cut the sonotubes in half, and then I've got to get everything lined up right down the middle. Again, I don't want to dig a bigger hole than I need to, because this earth will go back in around the outside of the sonotubes to stabilize them, so that when I pour them, they'll be nice and straight and level. And with 2.5 feet down and no more than 2.5 feet up, I think what we're going to end up with here is a nice stable mix when it's finished. First I want to make sure I checked it, that it was actually 12 feet. Very cool, very cool. I'm gonna have to clean up the holes a bit, but it's just awesome to see sonotubes in the ground. Very cool. I love it. I love it. I'm not really worried about the top edge being really that straight because I'm going to come through here and shoot everything at the right height with a laser. And then I'll cut every one of them off so that they're all the same height when they're done. But the 6 feet was more than enough to get me where I needed to be. And sonotubes are weird, right? So these are 8-inch sonotubes, but some of them will be 8 1/4 to 8.5 inches, and some of them will be 7.5 inches. But they're all called 8-inch sonotubes for whatever reason. A lot of times, like the doubles that I have over there, you'll see one's slid inside the other, and if they're both 8 inches, that wouldn't work. Very cool, very, very cool. I'm gonna have to clean the holes up a bit more though. think this last one's gonna fit. Throwing them there because we're supposed to have thunderstorms today and then on Wednesday again as well, and I don't really want those to get wet.